So another live. Welcome back. Welcome back to everyone. Welcome back, fellas.
Welcome back.
Easter Monday.
Easter Monday. How do you feel after this long weekend?
It started off rough for me, as you know very well, Jeff, because I was in that vacation mode. That's what I don't like, long vacations.
You can say it. You didn't want to come in this morning.
I did not want to come in because I don't like to disconnect. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. So if I'm doing something, I want to be going full blast. And so I disconnected completely. Started doing my weekend thing with the kids and my wife and my tractor. I spent a lot of hours digging. It was very fun.
Digging to no end.
Hey, I sent
but
you some.
digging.
No. There's projects, baby. I got like thousands of projects. I sent you some. I think I sent you some shots.
Yeah. He's doing it. He shared a lot.
You should
of
put
stuff.
that up and show the digging. So if anybody needs any digging of any kind, landscaping work, I'm your guy. So that's what I don't like. I just don't like the going from. I got to stay into the groove. It's like I'm like a train. Once I get going, it's hard to stop. So, how was your weekend, Mike?
Well, while you guys disconnected, I stayed connected. So I had 20 hours of work to finish my AMF.
Oh yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Congrats.
So now you're a full-fledged mortgage broker as well as a real estate broker with the full license. You got residential, commercial, and you have your agency director license too. That you're almost done.
Yeah.
Yep. So good job. And you can join our mortgage cabinet. For those that don't know, we have a mortgage cabinet called Omnium Capital Alliance. It's a DLC franchise, the biggest in Canada, the biggest mortgage cabinet. So, Mike, you're going to join. That's great. Really appreciate it. And so we wanted to talk about the competition and what regards.
How do you compete? How do you compete in this? There's over 16,000 brokers. You're a new broker or experience or.
I don't think it's 16,000, but close to. Yeah, no, it's less than that. It's 15,000, but still, it's a big number. Is it important, Mike, to go and look at what the 15 or the 16 are doing, and why would you want to do that?
But even though, even before this, how do you compete? Do you compete by comparing yourself? Do you compete by extracting those numbers and looking at what other people are doing?
You're competing because you're in the business with another 15,000 brokers. So now, is it important to know what they're offering? How do you go about looking at it, to answer Jeff's question, Mike?
I think in any industry, it's important to find out what other people are offering, what other people are doing in order for you to gauge to see where you're at, with your business. So if somebody's making that good chicken, then maybe you might find out, how they made it.
Making the good chicken. What's the recipe tonight?
Exactly. So if you find out how they've made it, then maybe you might get an idea on making it even better.
But you don't want to have your own recipe?
Of course. It's like, put it this way. If you look at KFC.
Oh boy. And you know what? I was at one point I was like, when you talk about chicken, I was like, I'm not gonna say
the secret recipe.
Yes.
No,
but not gonna say fried. Not gonna say fried. And like when you talk about KFC, seriously?
No, but go with your
Kool-Aid and watermelon.
No.
Go with your analogy.
Let's say you talk about KFC. They always talk about the Colonel's secret, right?
Yeah.
So he ended up having franchises all over the world. But then you got other ones that came after, let's say Popeyes or other chicken places that came after, right? Let's say Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
They all had their own thing. But at the end of the day, it's like McDonald's, like Burger King and Harvey's and whoever it is can come after, but nobody can actually get to that level. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's their work ethic, it's their recipe, it's the way they're doing it, the visibility, like you say all the time. That's what puts them, that arch that you see all the time when you drive down the road.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay, so Victoria, we have a question or comment?
Yeah, I have a question from Jess Tremblay, who asks, my sister and I are about to become brokers, and I was wondering if I should consider her as competition or as a collaborator.
Well, both. That's the weird part of being in real estate. You're collaborating, but you're also competing.
Maybe we should repeat the question. So Jess Tremblay said, my sister and I about to become brothering if I should consider her as competition or as a collaborator.
Yeah, so I was saying that's the hard part of being in real estate, or the interesting part, if you want to look at it from that angle, is that you are going to be competing, but you're also going to be collaborating. So it's quite a unique industry where you do both.
I think internal competition is very healthy. They have internal competitions all over the place in any company within the person that makes the most sales, the person that does the most this and that. So I think internal competition is always great.
Yeah, so that we were talking earlier about the
And
tracking and why we do it, so that we
I
can
was gonna
gauge
say
ourselves.
I had something maybe
Oh, go for it.
on this was maybe it's an opportunity to join forces. We always know that if it's a good match and you both have the same objectives.
Yeah, but how's
And
that possible?
well, it is possible. It
That's
is
almost
possible if
impossible.
you have the same mindset and
It's impossible.
it's you're both dedicated
So you're gonna go
an
50-50?
ultimate goal. I do think that if you're by yourself you can do X, but if you do your two and you both work at the same pace, you're not going to do 2X, you're going to do probably 3 or 4X if you're both into the same thing as a team, us as a group.
Yeah, but
If
you need a leader, so you can't go 50-50. That's why I was asking you. You want to do 50-50, or you want to have
you
members of the
can
team? I think it's fun to be in a team. I love the idea of being in team.
the out of the one of them is probably more a leader than the other if they're brother and sister, if they're both sisters
Let's
than the
ask
other.
competition. Oh, well, do you feel that it's important to track the competition to kind of see how you are doing compared to the trends of the competition? If everybody, let me put it in a more contextual situation here. If you look at every broker that's in your area or in your environment, whatever, and they're all growing and they all have a certain growth, and then you have a lesser growth, can you say you're as successful, or is it a good quantity? Can you celebrate your own victories and growth if everybody else is growing at the same rate?
Well,
I mean, I guess you could, but it's a good way to see, is it because of what I'm doing, or is it because of
is
the
it the trend
market?
of the market?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, I guess you're able to gauge to see how you're doing against the competition. But I mean, if your goal is to be the number one, then you definitely have a problem if you're moving at the same pace as everyone else.
Yeah. Okay. Victoria's got another question, or maybe a comment from Jessica. No.
No, Jessica's not responded yet, but
Okay.
I have Ashley who wants to know general question. What are the key elements that a new broker should have to make their way to the top in regards to competition?
Did we get that, or should we reread it?
Let's reread. So comment. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Ashley, for your comment or your question, should I say? What are the key elements that a new broker should have to make their way to the top in regard of competition?
So what would you say, Mike?
Well, first you'd have to know where's the top. How far are you from the top? And then after that, you'd have to work your way through there. I mean, there's no magic pill to make it there. You're gonna have to do work, and that work is gonna entail for you to be able to put in what you have to do to get to where you're going.
So what are we tracking? Are we looking at the gross revenues? Are we looking at the number of transaction? Are we looking at the number of listing? I guess it depends on the individual.
It's
I
different
guess
for
it depends.
everyone.
Right now, I think everybody or most of brokers, if I'm not mistaken, they're looking at the revenues.
Is that the way to do it, though?
No, I don't think it's the way to do it, because
you
if
kn-
you
'cause-
focus on the revenues, you could do one transaction and do as much revenue as somebody that did 15 transactions.
Right.
So I think it all depends on what you're gauging. Are you gauging the transactions to see how many clients you're able to get?
But what are the things you can control when looking at the real estate market as a real estate broker? You can't control what the buyer is going to want to buy, or at what price, I should say. You can't control the seller at what price and how much his home is worth. Like you get the seller
Of
to
course.
call you and say, come do an evaluation. You don't know if it's going to be a $9 million property or a mobile home that's 75,000. So what can you control is my approach to, and it's the same in the agency, right? It's the only thing I can control is the people knowing the agency, the brokers becoming brokers. I don't know if they're going to be good or bad, or
Yeah,
how much.
but
So it's what can you control? This was the reasoning I made a few years ago. What can I control? And then let me focus on that. So if I'm going back to real estate, the thing I can control is how many opportunities do I get? So that's the quantifier, the most important number for me. Not what I get from it, great, but I know I want to keep growing the number of transactions, or in my case, it was the number of listings. I want to get 10, 20, 25, 30, 50, and that growth per year. of inventory, because then I know I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
The revenues will be based upon the value that I can't control. Even when you get a listing, I can't control what the seller and the buyer are gonna actually agree on. So take that variable out, put in a variable you can control, and now you're in good position. Do we have any other questions, comments, or anybody that wants to share their way of looking at the competition and what they track? Yep, Victoria.
I have a question from Emily, who wants to know, in your experience, what is a realistic timeline of like 5 years?
He doesn't like realistic.
So
No, wait, let's repeat the question because I don't think we
let's
can pick it
repeat
up.
a question from Emily, if I understand correctly, is what's the timeline we should expect as a
Realistic
realistically as steps for
For what
first
goal?
5
For
years?
what achievement, though? Because if we don't know the achievement, there's no realistic nothing. You can have 0 in 5 years, or you can have 3 million. There's no limit, and
So are you saying you have to start with a goal?
you need a goal. You need a goal, but I don't know. Maybe if Emily, you're still there, if you want to tell us what your goal is or what your goal would be within 5 years, and then if it's anything is possible, really. But let me add something important. 5 to 7 years is the profitability of a business. Usually, any business, all businesses combined. Maybe real estate, I'll say it's 3 years to get into that momentum of okay, now I'm profitable. You see,
the
so.
question was more about
So maybe I answered it with what I just said, the statement I just made. Mike, what do you think? You started in real estate. Would you go with the 3, 4, 5?
How much time did it take you when you started?
Well, because
Oh, you're still working on it 15 years
no.
later. There's nothing wrong with that.
I can say that the first year was pretty rough, and then I guess in the second year I broke even, and then after that I started investing and flipping and that kind of stuff. So it was a different outlook for my part.
Interesting.
Good
Jeff,
stuff.
in the other businesses that you were in, was there such a thing as the 5 year, the 3 year, the 7 year?
Well, it all depends of if we're talking about the maturity. I think there's always that momentum after that 3 years is the momentum, but the full maturity usually is after 5 or 7. But I didn't get to that point because I was always selling at the moment we get momentum.
So you
that was
never you never
that
got
was
to the
my
golden nugget.
business.
You never got to
No,
the
so it's
pot of
because
gold.
no, it's just that it was so hot.
So you're a quitter, is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that
I'm
I'm just
kidding.
smarter than most of people. The product got so hot that it got traction, and when you got traction, well, someone knocks at your door to buy.
You sold it at the peak.
That's right.
Smart. All right. So, Steven, comment, question?
Gabriel was asking, I shouldn't hope for profit in 5 years. How can you support yourself financially knowing that?
So profit doesn't mean
Wait,
you're
repeat
not,
the question maybe,
sorry.
because Gabriel's
Oh,
asking,
let me see.
how can I?
So I shouldn't hope for a profit in 5 years. How can you support yourself financially knowing
Yeah.
that?
You pay yourself a salary of 30% of your gross. So every commission, if we're talking about real estate or by any business, whatever you're earning gross, you take 30%. You pay that as if you had an employee. You take 30 and pay that as your salary.
Yeah.
So the profit, if you were to have any profit, you reinvest into your operating and your marketing so that you can grow the business substantially enough that you can it was worthwhile. Because if you're leaving a job and you're making $60,000 a year or 70,000, do 30% of that. Look at what the gross needs to be. You see, do the math. I can't do the math in my head.
Well, it's close to 190.
So there you go. So you're not going to make that in 3 months, 6 months in real estate. Well, maybe, but you're exceptional. When we look at the average broker having less than 3 sales a year at an average price right now, Greater Montreal, 500,000. That's a gross commission of about 10-ish for easy math. So 3 is 30,000. 30% of that is what? $9,000 of revenue. So you're going to want to reinvest everything. Now, if you're in the right environment, then it makes a big, huge difference. And that's what we built and designed. And that's what the model that we have as an agency is to actually participate and not just be
That's right.
answering questions and doing trainings to do trainings. So very important to have the right environment in order to get that business going as soon as possible.
Absolutely. So before we finish, we have 2 announcements. Well, obviously, we have a contest that everybody is aware or should be aware of. So play the video.
of engagement here.
So as you know, 100th episode will draw the winner. So how you win? Very simple. Is you go back to all the episode and you comment, you like, you share, you tag. If you subscribe to our pages, YouTube, face, all our pages, you'll get five participation. If you review our Google page, any of our pages, I think we have 4 or 5, I can't remember. You also gain 5 participation. So they all add up. And good luck to everyone. And maybe right before we leave, we have our an event next week, the 28th, exclusive to all our Royal Lepage Group mailer broker, or to become Royal Lepage brokers. Etienne, if you wanna.
Yeah. So we're launching. We have this new condo project in Unsik. It's called. Well, we won't announce it yet.
No,
We're
you're
gonna
not
announce it tomorrow. We're gonna have a nice little video. You're gonna see it everywhere. Mike, you want to invite all the brokers or future brokers that are going to become Meller Group real estate brokers to this event. We're going to be reaching out to you if you're watching. But this is only for Meller Group Royal Lepage brokers. Victoria, you have a comment or a question?
A comment from Sylvie Romeo, who says, "Wow, super nice."
Well, thank
Amazing.
you.
So
Thank you,
we will
Sylvie.
see you, and we will see you at the event, Sylvie.
No, we won't, because
huh?
it's a it's a Meller Group exclusive
No,
event. So
no, that was the invitation to Sylvie to join.
Ah,
And so that,
yes.
come on, guys.
No, okay, sure.
It's
So we'll
okay.
have more details tomorrow. We're going to talk about it until we actually do it. It's next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Next Thursday, that's right.
And but we'll have more info. If you're interested in finding out more, Victoria's waiting by the computer. You can DM, text, email, call. We'll be ready for your call or for your comments or questions. Mike, anything else before we go?
Nothing. We're inviting everybody that's interested, to join our group, to let us know as quickly as possible, because this is a private event, limited spaces. So it's going to be important for you to get in touch with us as soon as possible.
All right.
Very good.
Thank
So